If you've watched this show enough, you know that we reference Devant Maharaj a lot. You know, he's a freedom of information guru and, well, full-time pest to Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. And that's exactly what we spoke to him about earlier. Take a look.
I think the first question I have to ask is, what going on with you? You have been named by Stuart Young a national nuisance, but at one point we thought, well, at least you weren't harassing the UNC. But now they getting licks too. Is everybody getting licks from you then?
And now nobody can say a bias, right? They can't say a bias. All right. I don't discriminate, Kijan. I call it as I see it. And I think now I spent the last 5 years focusing on the ills of the PNM. And now I think the next 5 years coming, I'll spend on the ills of the UNC. In particular, the political leader.
But what, in your opinion, is really the ills?
Well,
if she continues to win her seat, her political leadership, who are you to say that she's not supposed to be there?
Yeah, but we not in this. This is not a social group, you know. This is not an NGO, you know. This is a political party where our raison d'etre is to win an election to form government. We are not there to form and win the opposition, you know. Our supporters and members hope that eventually one day we would be in the corridors of power and able to effect some of the political promises that we continue to make. If we don't get into office, this party can't be about securing the political office for one person and a group of her supporters and friends and family. It is much larger than that. And the country deserves a strong opposition to keep the government in check. Right now, I don't know if you saw the scene that I put up on my Facebook page, where the government was in the budget debate in their full numbers, and the opposition bench had David Lee alone, like the cheese, standing alone. The rest of them was where? In the tea room eating, like they come there hungry. Do you understand?
But are there rules in Parliament about how many people could be in the room at a time? Aren't you picking at straws right now in a very I guess puerile way of nitpicking little things?
No.
To inch away at the legitimacy of a political leader.
I think the political leader has lost the legitimacy when she lost 11 elections, the last being the general election of August 10th. And she should have resigned at 12:01 on August 10th if she had any shame.
Take up your issues with the people of the UNC who keep...
Well, I am doing that. I am doing that. This is an issue with the UNC membership. Of course, I prefer to write it large on a national landscape because, as I said,
billboard on top of KFC, you mean?
Yeah. The UNC seems to have no shame. So I am trying to direct them where they could go and buy it, right? Wholesale. To shame them and name them out of office.
But I'm gonna ask you something. Are you actually running for political leader, or are you there's another billboard outside the KFC, another big show of some kind of strength?
No, well, you see, I think it really speaks to your colleagues in the media, Kijan.
What is that?
If you read my letter, right? Did I mention anywhere running for political leader?
No, but I understand somebody reached out to you and to confirm whether or not you're running for political leader.
And I indicated to them I am considering running for any position, but not limited to that of political leader.
Okay. So there's no confirmation yet that you're running for political.
Well, there's no confirmation that I'm running because in the letter itself, I expressed two concerns. One is how the party intend to deal with the COVID issue, because we just saw that following the general election of August 2010, there was a spike in COVID cases throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And I've spoken to people that got the COVID and they attributed solely to the election campaigning that they were engaged in. And then the second issue is...
I'm sure those people are wrong, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I spoke to, my friend and your friend, Kansley Ajoda, right? And when I asked him what did he think, how he picked it up, and he told me it's during the campaign, right?
Well, yes, but that's not the sole... Anyhow, but finish your point.
No, the second point, I think, and this is also a substantial point, is the electoral process of the UNC, in that if it is constitutionally due by the UNC constitution, that is, in November of this year, right? And the UNC present leadership really have no respect for their own constitution. Then when are the deadlines and timelines for the nomination process and withdrawal? When is that going to happen? What are when is the membership list going to be released to those persons indicating that they want to be candidates? Because unlike a general election where everybody over 18 could vote, everybody who have an opinion can vote in the UNC election. You have to have a party card, right? You have to have a membership. So I need to know, who do I campaign to? I can't go in the dark and say, Kijan, you could vote and pool everybody. It wouldn't make any sense. The second thing, there's normally an electoral committee that to oversee this. I want to know, how are they selected? Who is the composition? And I'm also deeply concerned about possible conflicts of interest, because now you have virtually half of the national executive of the United National Congress occupying seats in the parliament where they could influence constituents and membership in the party itself. You have the general secretary and the PRO of the party.
It sounds to me like you understand how the thing goes, and if you were on their side and if you were on the right side, as the political leader would have said, if you had get a seat, I feel like you wouldn't be arguing all of these cases.
No, is it as the same thing the political leaders does? Play smart with dotishness, right? How she could say, if I had got a seat, Kijan, I never filed. If I was interested in a seat, I would have filed nomination papers whenever the party had opened up. But I decided very long before that I could not sit down on the same table with some of the kindergartners and children that they have in the parliament now. The United National Congress, UNC, stands for United National Children.
So
right?
what exactly was your role in the UNC from 2015 to 2020? You were kind of on the outskirts, but on the inside. So you weren't necessarily a member. You weren't necessarily like a member of parliament. You weren't in the Senate. You weren't anything like that. But you were definitely campaigning for the UNC. So what was your role then, and how do you see your role now as a member of the UNC?
As a former cabinet member of the government on which the UNC formed the majority partner, I assumed the role onto myself as I did before the UNC came into power in 2010. You recall, I was the person that brought to light the secret scholarships of Patrick Manning. I was the one prosecuting the Trinity Cross issue and a number of other issues with freedom of information. So I just picked up where I left off in 2010. I didn't seek approval from the UNC or not, because I had I didn't locate myself in the structure of the party.
So but they used you to their advantage.
Yeah, they used me, and I mean, it was I didn't have any problem with that. It was my party, and as it is now, still my party, right? But I think it comes a time, and the time has come for me, that I am no longer willing, as my friend Morgan Job says, willing to join a multitude to do evil. And I think that evil has been perpetuated on the political party by chiefly the political leadership.
So if not you to run the party, I mean, who you backing?
Well, I think there are a number of other persons. I mean, which
the rumor is Vasa and Barrett.
Well, the rumor is also Botiwari. The rumor is also Kevin Ramnarine. I am willing to support sober leadership with responsibility, leadership that respects the constitution of the political party that we all belong to. Look, yesterday was the 32nd anniversary of the UNC being formed in Aranguez. The current leadership and members of parliament, not a word from them. They have nothing to say because they were not there. They don't have that sense of gravitas about such an important anniversary, because they're all on Facebook, right? So like Khadija Amin had to be brought up twice for being on Facebook by the Speaker of the House. This is when you bring immature, unprepared persons to the parliament to conduct the people's business and debate a $43 billion budget. with fellas and boys and girls who really should have been in a junior sex class at this point in time.
Devant Maharaj, my final question, I think one the entire nation wants to know. What exactly do you do for a living?
I do consultancy.
Consultancy. For
Management consultancy for business.
protest consultancy, essentially, then.
Well, that's
anybody who wants to form a protest, call them.
If you want to do a protest, I'm the minister of protest.
And freedom of information requests.
Freedom of information, I do that for myself, but a number of people ask me for help in terms of pulling out form. And then I have my trade union. As you know, I have a trade union sometime now, formed in 2016, where I represent workers who have been let go for various reasons. And that has been picking up over the years.
Interesting. Devant Maharaj, thank you very much for your time making protest. And do you accept the nuisance name? You okay with it?
I am the conscience of the nation. If you want to call me a nuisance, I have no problem with it.
Devant Maharaj, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk.
All right.